Are you getting ready to buy a new home and have heard horror stories about buyers not being able to get their offers accepted? Have you heard about buyers getting turned down 5 times in a row and finally given up in frustration? Do you need a home now? Stay tuned because I'm going to go over the 3 most important tips on how to buy a home in a hot seller's market right now. Hi, my name is Robert Luke, and I've been a realtor in the Salt Lake City area since 2005. In that time, I've helped my clients buy and sell hundreds of homes. As you may have recently discovered, however, few things are more frustrating for a buyer than trying to buy a home when the inventory of homes on the market is low. That is the definition of a seller's market. In a seller's market, you are competing with other buyers to such a great extent that all the normal rules of buying a home go out the window. Multiple offers are the rule in a seller's market. Now, there is a strategy for you to follow to get your offer accepted by a seller who has multiple offers to pick from. Obviously, I cannot disclose my entire strategy on how I get my buyer selected in a multiple offer situation, but I can give you a really good idea of the attitude that you should take with you when you're buying a home in a hot seller's market. I'll give you 3 tips on how to buy your dream home. Now, be sure to stick around at the end of this video, as I'll be sharing a free comprehensive homebuyer's guide. Tip number 1, get pre-qualified with a good lender. Now, don't waste your time looking for a home when you haven't been pre-qualified with a good lender. First off, you may be looking at a home over your price range. It's kind of like looking at BMWs all day long when you can only afford an old Chevy. You will never be happy moving down to something less than the home you get excited about. Secondly, you may need to offer more than the list price on a home, and you need to know what your maximum is just in case you find that perfect home and decide it is worth offering over the asking price. You could lose the home if you have to go back to the lender and say, run the numbers again and find out if I can get a higher price. Find out your maximum price right now. We all want to find a home for the lowest price. I mean, that's normal, but be prepared to offer more if you find that perfect home. Over the last 10 years, the Salt Lake area has averaged about a 10 to 15% price increase per year. It was 28% last year. And the interest rates as of April 2022 are moving back to the normal range after several years of abnormally low rates. My first home, by the way, was an 11% VA loan, so it can get a lot worse. Your dream home of today is going to cost you more a year from now. That's almost guaranteed. So grab it now if you can. Make sure you have given your lender everything they need, even if it doesn't seem to make sense. You don't want to find out after you finally get an accepted offer that the underwriter cannot use your part-time income or 1099 income. Nothing is more frustrating than finding a great home, getting your offer accepted, making plans, and then having to cancel the contract once your file goes to the underwriter and you find out that they can't use all of that income you thought you could use. If there's anything questionable regarding your financial shape, have your lender check it out now. And make sure that your lender has all the supporting documents. Just because you say that you make X doesn't mean that the supporting documents back you up. Make sure that your underwriters run your file through their automated underwriting system and make sure that they've run your credit. FICO is the name of the credit score they need, by the way. It's not just a normal credit score. If the realtor for the seller is on their toes, they will be asking you these questions. Get a strong loan approval letter from your lender before you go looking for that home. Now, that letter the lender gives you is technically called a pre-approval letter, but you will need to send that to the seller when you make an offer. A seller will not seriously consider your offer without a loan approval letter or proof that you can pay cash for the house. And here's a pro tip. Once you go under contract, don't go out and set up a credit line at the furniture store. Don't change your job or don't buy a new car. Do that after you close on your new house. You don't want to change anything in your financial shape while you're under contract. Tip number 2, be quick. In a hot seller's market, new listings can go under contract the same day that they're released to the public. It is not necessarily an inside deal like many frustrated buyers think. The reason the new home goes under contract so fast is that the buyer of that home was quick. As Utah is a non-disclosure state with regard to actual sold prices of homes, some of the internet providers of houses may still be showing homes that were sold months ago. Your realtor should be setting you up on a hot sheet directly from the MLS, not from a third-party service provider that may have old data. If you were anxious to buy now, then have the hot sheet update you as soon as the new listing hits the market. Weekly or daily hot sheets can make you too late. As soon as you see a home that you think you're interested in, call your realtor and ask them to check into it. Set up an appointment to see the home as soon as possible. Drive by the home if you can, then you will know if the house is worth paying over asking price. If you can't drive by the house, if you don't have enough time, at a minimum, check out a Google Maps satellite view of the home to see if there's anything close by that you don't care for. Train tracks, schoolyard, electrical transmission wires, or things like that. Or if there's no way in the world you can fit your 24-foot RV next to the house, you can see that on the satellite view. When you go out with your realtor to see the house, check out the condition of the house closely. Does it need a new roof? Is the furnace really old? How is the stucco? How is the siding? Are there broken windows? In a hot seller's market, the seller is not going to want to fix a bunch of stuff, especially something like roofs or appliances, really expensive things. The seller would rather work with a buyer who is willing to buy the house as is, if they can still get the price they want. Okay, tip number 3, put yourself in the seller's shoes. It really doesn't matter a lot what you want if the seller has 10 other offers to pick from. You can't be as picky as you could in a normal market or a buyer's market. If the house doesn't meet your requirements today, then look for another house, or decide to make that house perfect after you bought it. Assume the seller will not be willing to make the house look new. For goodness sakes, it's a 40-year-old house. Assume the seller has a backup offer, or maybe 2, and can always decide not to make all of the repairs that you want. Go in with your best offer. This is really hard to do because you want to pay the least for the house, but in a seller's market, you may not get a chance to change your offer. You may not get that second chance. A typical scenario in a seller's market is that the seller will immediately, 1, drop the lowball investor offer. They're going to get a bunch. They're going to get emails saying, hey, I'll give you 50% of what you want cash, but I'll give it to you tomorrow, sight unseen. They're going to probably drop those. Then they're going to drop the problematic offers, very low down payment, low earnest money, weak loan approval letters, a settlement date beyond the normal time. I'm going to close in six weeks versus 30 days, things like that. The seller will then pick 1 or 2 that they want to work with and then hash out all the details. And this is a good sign. Is the lender local? Does the buyer really qualify for this loan? What is the purchase price? How much is the down payment? How much is the earnest money? How fast does it close? Especially if the house is vacant. They want to close tomorrow, right? What happens if the home inspection is not perfect? What is the buyer going to ask for? What happens if the appraisal does not meet the offer price? All of these things the seller's looking at when he's evaluating which offer to take. There will usually be multiple offers on a home in a seller's market, and the other agent should notify you that there are, in which case they may tell you that you have until a certain day and time to give them your best and final. Hey, buyer, I've got 3 offers on this home, and I want best and final Tuesday by noon. That's typically what happens. They don't have to. However, the seller is not required to do that, which is why you need to go in with your best offer. The seller may be sick of showing the home. They may be in a hurry, or they may have some other reason for ending the process as soon as possible. It's very frustrating, but I've had sellers, when I was representing the buyer, say, oh, I just really like that buyer. I saw them walking through the house. We said hi as we walked out the door, and oh my goodness, they're offering a lot more than I paid for the house 40 years ago, and they accept that offer when they could have waited a little while and gotten a better offer. I've seen that before. Be very quick in answering the seller's questions. It is good that they're asking you questions because it means that you're in the top 1 or 2 offers. They may ask you about being flexible on the closing date, buying the house as is, or other items that make your offer better from a seller's point of view. Remember that the top price is not necessarily the winner. You have to make the seller confident that you won't cancel and that you will be flexible if needed in case things change for the seller. Well, these are my top 3 tips to get you the house of your dreams in a very competitive seller's market. There's much more to getting your home accepted, of course, and the best way to structure your offer. But if you follow these 3 tips right off the bat, you'll be well on your way to a successful purchase. If you would like a free home buyer's guide, home seller's guide, or the most current Salt Lake area market update, feel free to click on the links below in the description box. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, please feel to call me or text me anytime at 801-243-7804. Thanks.